Hey everybody, Cranford here. Thanks for tuning in to the Survivors to Thrivers podcast. Today we're going to be talking about something a lot of people always ask me about. They go, Cranford, what can I do if somebody grabs me to get loose? Well, today I'm going to show you, and I'm telling you, this is one of those podcasts that's going to be right on the nose. Stay tuned. If you're a survivor of violence and are ready to get control of your life again, you're in the right place at the right time. This is the Survivors to Thrivers podcast with your host, Cranford Blackman. All right, again, thanks for tuning in. I'm Cranford Blackman. And, we talk about awareness a lot because awareness is extremely important. But one of the things you have to learn about awareness is that it's multifaceted. One, you have to decide to be aware. Two, you have to know what to be aware of, what to look for. And you also need to know what to do with that thing you found after you've become aware of it. So this is one of those times where I'm going to tell you something very specific. And usually when we're talking about awareness, I'm teaching you a way to avoid a problem altogether. But today it's going to be about how to get out of a problem using something that you may not be aware of, but you will be after this. Okay. Some of the things that you can become aware of can just be right there, as plain as the nose on your face, or as plain as a bad guy's nose. And that's what I'm going to talk to you today about using a bad guy's nose as a tool of escape, how you can use it to get away from that guy. Let's start out with probably an all too common scenario that a lot of women put up with. Let's consider you're in a party or at a bar or a get together, and some guy who's had a little too much liquid courage to drink comes over and he starts trying to connect with you. All right, so he's offering to buy you a drink, he's talking to you, telling you about how wonderful he is, how gorgeous you are, and, just trying to meet up with you, to hook up with you, to get to know you and maybe date you. But maybe this is one of those days where you're just really there to relax, to be with your friends. You're not looking for a date, and you just kind of want him to leave you alone, right? What do? Well, first of all, we're going to use our voice. I want you to use your voice. And this is very, very important. Now, here's a key thing about using your voice first. Okay? It is important to say, no, I don't want to. Don't touch me. I don't want to drink. And it's okay to start escalating that to a louder voice. You can shout at them. And here's why it's important. To turn around and do something physically to a person without giving them any warning. Remember when I said it might just be a nice guy not realizing how much you want to be left alone, or not realizing how much in your space and how uncomfortable he has made you. It might be an okay guy. You turn around and stick a fork in that guy's shoulder, guess what? You just became the bad guy. So you do want to use your voice first. Tell him, no, hey, look, I'm not interested. Thank you, but no, I'm here with my friends. They keep on, it's okay to turn that up some, where you start shouting. And that does a couple of things. One, it's going to make very clear that you're serious. Two, it helps to alert the people around you that something's going on that you don't like. And third, it tells the people around you who are becoming witnesses that you were making it clear to this person. You were telling them to stop. This isn't some lover spat. This is you trying to be very decent, very clear, to communicate clearly that you don't want to date, you don't want to drink, you don't want him to touch you. So then you have created witnesses who hear what you were doing, who have now looked to see what's going on. So that using your voice is very important. First of all, it might be a nice guy and he might just need a gentle nudge. Hey, I'm not here for you. I don't want to drink. And maybe that's enough. Maybe the loud voice that you then move to makes him realize, oh, she's not kidding. And the loud voice also gets people to look at you. So if there does need to be more, you now have witnesses that saw the challenge you were dealing with and can understand what you did afterwards, which I'm about to tell you about. So regardless of how good looking this fella might be, he doesn't have the right to put his hands on you or to accost you, to bother you. Now, he might just be a friendly guy, not realizing how much in your space he has gotten. But he may also be a drunk jerk or a sober jerk. But either way, he does not have the right to put his hands on you or to move you around or anything like that. And you have to know that. You have to own that for yourself, okay? It doesn't matter how large or small you are. It doesn't matter how large or small he is. He doesn't have the right to touch you. Even if he's a really handsome guy, like this guy. That's Cyrano de Bergerac, by the way. Some of you younger folks won't know who that is. But even no matter how good looking, how interesting or whatever this person is, they don't have the right to bother you, to put their hands on you, especially after you've made it clear to them verbally. And that's important. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute, okay? But they don't have the right to put their hands on you. So you very much have the right to tell them to stop, to move away, to say, no, I don't want to drink. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to dance. I'm here with my friends. Thanks, but no thanks. So what kind of physical force can you use? There's a whole lot. I teach a whole program on that. But this is something very simple you can do that can do a couple of things for you. Now remember this, force should always be a last resort. Like I said, use your voice first, and that loud voice can get helpers to come over and assist you if the guy's being a jerk, right? So force is your last resort. You know, ask for help, get loud, that's always the first thing. Use your voice. Now, when somebody's that close to you, what we're talking about, remember I said this is a podcast that will be right on the nose. We're talking about noses today. A bad guy's nose. Now, like I said, maybe this guy is just an overeager fellow who just thinks you're gorgeous and really wants to date. He may not be a real bad guy. But this also works for guys who are bad guys, who are trying to hurt you, who are trying to kidnap or accost or whatever. Okay, so this works, and this works regardless of your size or theirs. Okay, so I want to tell you why the nose is such a great target. It's always right there. And it doesn't matter if it's under a mask, it's still very accessible. And before I get too much farther into telling you about using someone's nose, there's something you've probably seen on movies or heard from your cousin who likes movies or an ex-boyfriend when you've heard somebody go, well, you can push someone's nose up into their brain and kill them. No, that won't work. You know, unless you're hitting their nose with something like a baseball bat or your car. Okay, so don't let that keep you from bonking somebody on the nose if they need it. Okay, so just get that out of your head. You're not going to kill somebody by hitting them in the nose. So as I was saying, a bad guy's nose is always right there. It's very easy to get to, even under a mask. You know, if you bonk a mask, then you've still bonked them in the nose. Now, here's the thing to know. A nose is very sensitive, okay? It's not just sensitive to pain, it's sensitive to smells, right? Whether it's an apple pie cooking or that poo that's on your shoe and you're now walking over your carpet with it. Your nose knows. But your nose also knows pain. It's very sensitive. If you've ever been bumped on the nose by a baby you were holding, you know, it doesn't take a whole lot to make your nose hurt. And whether you bump your nose, you know, a baby hitting you, or while you were throwing frisbee or playing volleyball or anything, you know, it doesn't take a whole lot to make your nose hurt. A lot. So when you get bumped on the nose, what happens? Your nose starts running, your eyes water, it hurts. You may get a bloody nose. So you can have a bloody mess. And if you're in the UK, I don't mean bloody like a swear word. I mean literally, your nose bleeds pretty easy. So a good bonk on the nose can cause all those things. Now, that hit to the nose doesn't knock anybody out. Okay? It can shock somebody, you know, somebody that was getting too close to you, and they had put their hands on your shoulder and you've now hit them in the nose, it can make them be suddenly very clear. Holy cow, she's serious. What are you doing hitting me? And then it's okay to use your voice again, that if you don't back off, it's going to be a whole lot worse than me bumping you in the nose. So the nose is a terrific target. It is right there all the time. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the structure of the nose, because some of the things that you may have heard about breaking a nose are probably not accurate. So I'm going to talk to you about that a little bit too, okay? And by the way, when I'm saying bonk somebody on the nose or bump them, here's the truth. If you're in a situation where you're scared for your safety, you don't bump somebody softly, okay? If you got to bonk somebody on the nose, go ahead and do it like you're trying to drive a nail into the wall with one shot. Do it hard, okay? Like I said, you're not going to kill somebody by hitting them in the nose. Even if you miss, you hit them what? On the eye, which is protected by bones. You're not going to put their eye out. If you hit them in the mouth, it's not going to kill them, but it's sure going to hurt. But it's going to suddenly become extremely clear to this guy that you're not joking around, okay? So I'm going to show you how to do it too. And really the best way to hit somebody in the nose is not this way. In my courses, I'll teach you, don't punch at all. And the reason is, when you punch people, if you're not used to it, it can hurt your hand a lot. Plus, these bones right here tend to break when you punch somebody the wrong way. So you don't want to punch somebody in the nose and break your own hand. Instead, you make a fist like this, up and down, and you hit like this. It's so much easier, okay? And plus you have that meat on the side of your hand. So that's the way you're going to bonk somebody on the nose, all right? And like I say, just like you're trying to drive a nail into a wall, like your hand is a hammer, it's actually called a hammer fist when you hit like that. And you can get up a lot of energy and a lot of force that way. So that's the way I want you to do it. And I'm going to explain something about that more in a minute, okay? Now, when you do hit somebody in the nose, it's not going to knock them out. It's not going to disable them. Like I said, we're going to have a runny nose, watering eyes, maybe some blood in their nose. And another thing that happens very commonly as a natural response is when our nose gets hit, what do? We put our hands up to protect our nose and our face, which takes their hands off of you and up to them, okay? Now, that's great. One, it gets their hands off of you. But here's something to remember. You're not knocking them out. That's a shocking thing that lasts a few moments. You take those precious few moments to get away from them or to grab somebody and get help. It's okay to turn somebody and go, help get this jerk away from me. Okay? It's okay to do that. And I want you to do that. I want you to get help. If you don't have help around you, you take that moment to get away from him, right? It gives yourself a head start, whether you're running or walking or jumping into your car or onto your bike or whatever. All right? It gives you a few moments that you can use to get away. It's shocking and painful. And guess what? Most guys don't expect a woman to reach up and nail them in the nose. So you also have the psychological shock too, which is great. Now I want to talk about the structure of the nose, okay? Let me get a prop here. The nose can be broken down into two parts. Little play on words there, breaking their nose. Anyway, thanks for being there, the people that caught that. Here we have a not quite life-size, not completely anatomically accurate Halloween decoration, okay? But let me show you. The nose is pretty much two pieces. There's this bone right here, okay? And that's the actual bone. But the part that comes out here, this is the part we're talking about. Bone, bone, and right here is this part. This part, this soft part, which I've got more of it than some people do, is cartilage. That's soft. It doesn't break. And this bone is actually very hard to break for the most part. And I'm going to tell you why. You see, it's in a curve. So any of you that have ever studied architecture, you know that a curve can bear a lot of weight. That's why you see curves under a bridge. Okay, it spreads force out. But as you can see in this pretty good design, the nose is split right there. So you're not going to break anybody's nose by hitting them like this. But if it's a bad situation and the guy's really trying to hurt you, it's not very hard to break a nose. And the way you do that, and remember, force is a last thing to use, okay? But if you're worried about your safety, your life, you do what you have to do, okay? So instead of hitting a nose straight on like this, if you hit that bone from an angle like this, so I'll use my own head here for you, sacrificing my own safety if I accidentally hit myself too hard. I really hope I don't do that. But so to hit directly on doesn't break that bone. If you hit here, you get a lot of squishiness that hurts a lot. But if you're in real danger, or you feel like you are, and you hit that bone from an angle, so you're coming this way or this way, it actually becomes very easy to break that nose bone, okay? Because it's shaped like this. When you hit it from an angle, instead of coming down like that, it pushes it like that, depending on the angle you hit it from. So you can break their nose. Now, with a broken nose, now they have much more of the snot, the blood, the eyes watering, and a very hurting face. Okay, and this is something I teach in my other programs, that now that they have a broken nose, any touch on their face or around their nose, even a small smack, can cause excruciating pain, and you can use that to help you escape. Another nice thing biologically about using the nose as a target is, even if it's a huge guy, a big bodybuilder, there's no muscles to build up around a nose. It is skin, cartilage, and bone. That's all there is. There's no way to build that up. So regardless of what you hit it with, whether you're using your hammer fist like I just showed you, or your elbow, or the top of your head, you've probably seen that on movies where bad guys holding somebody else and they use their forehead to hit the nose. You can use anything. If you've got a glass in your hand, a bottle, your water bottle, your phone, anything, you can use that to hit the nose, cause that shock. And it's just, like I say, it's a temporary stun. It's a chance for you to make it very clear to that guy you don't want him doing what he's doing. It's also a great opportunity for you to skedaddle. That's a Southern word. That means get out of there, okay? You don't stand around and watch to see if it worked. You turn and go. You go get help. You go get to a safe place. Now here's another tip for you about having hit someone in the nose. If you've had to hit someone, and especially if there's blood and stuff, now remember, you used your voice first, so you have witnesses. But go ahead and contact the authorities. Call them up, because it's so much better for you to call the police and explain what happened, instead of him going to a payphone or grabbing his cell phone, calling the police and saying you assaulted him, right? He's a bad guy. He wouldn't be above doing something like that. So go ahead, call, have them come out, make a report, tell them what happened, so you can protect yourself legally as well. Now, I'm not an attorney, okay, so I'm not giving you legal advice, but it really is better for you to explain to the police as an attempted victim, somebody tried to hurt you, than as an attacker, where the bad guy is actually saying you were the attacker. Call the police, get some help, get it on record what happened, okay? Even if he's not a bad guy, you don't necessarily have to press charges, but they will have the record of what happened, and that protects you. Okay, did you like this episode? Were you surprised at how useful a nose can be? It really can be helpful. And you know what? I mean, if you look at my nose, it's not altogether straight. That was from a not very hard Frisbee that hit me in the nose when I was a very young guy. So really, it can help a lot for you to hit somebody in the nose. Now, if you have a story about that, if that's happened to you, please share it with me. Put it in the comments or send it to my email if you're watching this on the website, which is LaBCaF.com, and let me know. It's great for other people to hear your stories about how maybe even a small bump to the nose really incapacitated you for a few moments. Because I remember when I was hit with that Frisbee, even though I was probably only in the 4th or 5th grade, I still remember it. And I remember hands up to eyes, I mean, I would have been useless for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes until I could see okay again. But let me know your stories. Did you accidentally bump somebody on the nose and didn't realize how much pain it caused them? That's good stuff for people to hear, to realize just how effective this is. So share with me, let me hear your stories, and then share this video. Okay, send it to somebody you love, send it to your friend, and especially to people who are survivors of violence. Let them know that there are some very simple things like this that they can do to keep themselves safe. All right, and there's so many more things. So please do go on the website, LaBCaF.com, subscribe to my email list so you can hear when content like this comes out. All right, I'm not going to send you a whole lot of emails, but I will let you know when there's new content out. And I'll also let you know about programs coming up, especially the big online program that I'm bringing to you. That one's still in the works, though, about situational awareness. It's a very in-depth course, and you're going to love it. It's awesome. All right, so thank you for tuning in today. Give me a thumbs up on YouTube. Help people find us. So until next time, as we keep moving from survivors to thrivers, this is Cranford Blackman reminding you to stay safe and stay strong. See you next time.
To make sure you never miss an episode of Survivors to Thrivers podcast, subscribe at LaBCaF.com.
Now, when you do hit somebody in the nose, pause. As we keep moving, reminding you to